Welcome, gamers, to this week's episode of Last Call Gaming, and on today's episode, we're going to go over the highlights of Tokoyo Game Show 2019. We're also going to discuss Gears 5 and the huge success that Microsoft having with it, and if the Game Pass is the key to that. But more importantly, we are going to announce the winner of our Nintendo Switch Lite giveaway, so make sure you stay tuned to the end of the episode to see if you won. But as always, guys, there's all that and more, so if you want to hang out, grab yourself a beer, and let's talk games. Welcome, gamers, to this week's episode of Last Call Gaming. We are on episode 20. My name is Craig Perales, and the man that pulls off flannel better than anybody I know, Mandrew Montemayor.
It's a hard color, but you know what?
It looks good on you. Hey, when you're calling, you're balling, bro. So
that's why I buy an extra medium.
Ooh, gotta get nice and tight like a tiger.
Makes me look buffer.
I think so. Well, yeah, it's an interesting checkered pattern on you. But guys, we're going to get into the highlights of the Tokoyo Game Show 2019. Now, keep in mind, it's not over yet, right? It runs till
the 15th, which is Sunday. Sunday.
So this is still happening. So, right, it's not like we're covering the whole thing, right? We could be talking about TGS next week if in the next few days something big drops, right?
Yeah,
we're just talking about what's happened so far.
Right. Today is a Thursday, so, a bombshell could drop tomorrow. Plus, I don't think one of the games we are going to be talking about, Resident Evil Project Resistance, though I don't think they said they're going to show gameplay of it until Sunday. Actually.
No, there was gameplay of it.
No, they showed a little bit of gameplay. I think they're putting out the full demo? Yeah, like a full demo, like a full-length match of how that game works until Sunday.
So we got a couple things in front of us. Why don't you pick one and we'll start with it?
Well, I will start with Resident Evil Project Resistance, since I was just talking about it.
We talked about it 2 weeks ago about Project Resistance, and the premise that we wanted was to be like Outbreak, and that's not what happened. So Andrew, what's going on with it?
No, it is an asymmetrical 1v4. So one person is controlling the environment, placing the zombies, placing traps, locking doors, turning off lights, and then the other 4 people are just trying to escape. And they've only said 4. They've also come out to say that they don't know what
so far.
Yeah, that they don't know what kind of project this is going to be. So they haven't said if it's going to be a $60 game, if it's even going to be a full-fledged game. If it's not a full-fledged $60 game with what the content is that I've seen, then I don't think I would be as mad about it, let alone the resources that were used to make this when I would have, rather than made something else. But if, let's say, it comes out at that sweet price point, it could be pretty cool, because seeing some of the gameplay of it, I kind of like the idea of being that kind of dungeon master, but again, after how many games do I get bored of something like that, though?
Yeah, I'm curious on how long something like that stays in effect, because it's not so much, I would say, like a gimmick, but it's got it's limited audience, because it's a round you have to play with 5 players essentially every time, right? Somebody has to be
someone has to be the master,
evil mastermind, and then somebody has to take on the role of the 4 kids. But the D&D nerd in me was like, I want to play the mastermind every time, and I want to fuck people up, and I want to put them in locked rooms, and I want to sick the zombies up. So I was mad at first when Andrew didn't get the Outbreak kind of game that he wanted, but the more I saw of it, and the more I saw what you could do with it, the more I kind of liked it. But I think you're right, though. Price matters with this game.
Yeah.
If it's just that, I don't think 60 is the way you go, right?
I don't think so. I'm up in the air about it. And, I mean, even still, you've seen other games come out at lower price points. Like, I don't think... I think Friday the 13th, when that game launched, was like $40. And that game... It was okay. It was cool. I didn't buy it at $40. I bought it when it was like $15 on like a sale or something like that. And I had fun playing it. But I don't feel that's a game that really took off for anybody. We saw what happened with Evolve, another asymmetrical 1v4, another game that did not take off for anybody. That Predator game, I see people talking about it, but it's not like everyone's clamoring for it. People aren't dying for it. So the same thing with this one. But then again, it could be the game that breaks that trend, and maybe this puts asymmetrical on the map.
I think if anyone has the
potential to do it,
the gusto to do it, it's going to be Capcom, because, I mean, let's talk a little bit about what the game was. So you got the 4 characters, right? The 4 kind of builds. You've got the hacker that kind of got
there's the hacker. There's the one tank guy who does a lot better for melee. Yeah, the tank, and then there's the chick who's like the healer.
She was the healer type. And then so essentially, when you're the evil mastermind, you're replacing it. But at the end, if they're still running around and because it's based on a time limit, he can actually become, is it Mr. X, right?
I don't know if that time limit is the time for them to escape before it loses, or before he's loose, or if that time limit is they have to make it to a designated exit.
Right.
Because they didn't show that. So, well, I mean, I don't know if there's a way to beat it or if it's just survive. I mean, the primary kind of focus of it is, to surprise your enemies. If you're the master, you can play as a zombie and kind of throw people off. You can play as Mr. X for a certain amount of time. And then you can also control other things like maybe if the group kind of gets split up, that's kind of going to be your big goal, is to maybe trap somebody in a room, or if someone's on a walkway, before the rest of them drop the walkway, or lift a launcher or something like that to separate them and put them against, a bunch of zombies or creatures that's just them by themselves. So.
Yeah, so I'm glad you did that one first, because we kind of had hopes of what it could be. I'm not necessarily disappointed of what it became, but we'll see more over this weekend of what they release.
I think
right?
It's not that I'm disappointed in the game. I'm disappointed in that I wanted something else.
Well, and that's the other thing. Who knows what Capcom is doing? I mean, maybe they're going to throw us this, and then maybe in a year and a half, 2 years, they throw us that. So, because, I mean, that's what everybody's response was. Everyone was like, dude, we want Outbreak. And they heard that, right? Because all the forums were talking about people with Project Resistance where they're hoping it was Outbreak. So they're not idiots. I'm sure they listen to that and go, you know what, guys, there is a call for it, so let's put it on the back burner and let's see what happens.
Right.
So let's move into the next one, and let's see, Final Fantasy VII. So there was the new trailer that finally came out.
Beautiful trailer.
Jeez Louise, was I just like, this trailer finally shows what this game is going to be like outside of the first 10 minutes of the game, because we were kind of hung up on that. Every trailer we saw over the past
it was like
3
the first
years,
10 minutes of the game,
4 years, however long it's been, there's been the first little bit of the now Mako. Right?
Yeah, they pronounce it Mako,
it's not Mako React. Apparently, we've been saying it wrong our whole life. So, Andrew, we saw that. We see more of the Turks. We see kind of more of the mechanics of the game. Initial thoughts? I mean, does it make you any more hyped than when you already were?
I absolutely loved it. And I think what really got me actually is when they showed Don Corneo and like that whole slum section, because I really thought that they were going to kind of
gloss over that.
Gloss over it, because it can be a little dated, and if you handled it the same, I don't know if it would translate as well to like today's culture, because there's some things in there that seem like maybe it's like a little like homophobic or like cross-dressing and making fun of it and stuff like that.
Very 1997.
So, if it's handled right, which it seems like it is, I'm definitely all for. I mean, I personally don't have a problem with the way that it was back then.
No, that was the game. I mean, if you're gonna remake the game, you remake the game.
But I can understand that anyone who would be upset. That's fine. I wouldn't be like,
oh, you're. But anything you do is gonna piss somebody off. So I mean, if you're gonna bend to one thing, you're gonna bend to them all. So again, no, we haven't seen the extensity of it, but from what they've shown, it looks like they're handling it very carefully.
Yeah, because Aerith shows up showing nice dresses. Let's just say Corneo has certain taste. Yeah. And then Corneo, voiced by Mark Hamill.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but I didn't hear it at first. But once Andrew said it when we rewatched it, I was like, oh yeah, I'll never not hear that. So
for sure. And so I mean, just it seems like that's the thing, is there was always that dialogue. And there still is a lot of dialogue between everybody, but now that it's fully voice acted, you can really feel that dynamic between characters, the tone they set, the people you're talking to, plus all the added scenes, because they even added like a scene where like you're flying with Jesse and them over what I can only assume is Midgar on like a parachute or something that.
We were talking about that. We're like, what could that possibly be? And we had our theories. My main theory was, well, I guess I won't say it because I don't want to.
I don't want to spoil it for anyone. I mean, they even added like another new character, which was like right off the bat, and something.
Where do you think he fits in? Where in the story do you think he's someone that's just being sent after them in general? Because it kind of seems like they're taking a new twist on what the president's doing in terms of calling them. Well, he was calling them Wu-Tang.
Wu-Tai, yeah.
Wu-Tai. Wu-Tai. Kind of like activists. So.
Yeah, allies of Wu-Tai,
the liberties, I'm glad they're taking certain liberties if that's the case what they're doing.
Right.
So if the storyline changes a fraction here, a new character there, I'm not mad at it, because everything we saw that looks traditional and pulling from the original game looks great.
Oh yeah, I down to like the little nitty gritties, like when Cloud gets turned into the frog.
Oh man, that was the highlight, because was he just...
Yeah.
So I was like, no, they did
that.
it.
They showed off a couple summons. The summons look absolutely great.
Shiva. What did they show off? Shiva.
Yeah,
Ifrit.
Shiva and Ifrit, and it might be Odin, but it also could be like another enemy that you fight that's almost like a death racer, or like a chariot or something. But I think what's most important to note is from what we've seen so far, it seems to be like what Resident Evil 2 is. Resident Evil 2 took a lot of liberties and changed a lot of things from the original Resident Evil 2. But more importantly, it kept the heart and soul of what Resident Evil was. And that's why people love that. And that's why that's personally one of my game of the years. I absolutely love that game. That game got high marks from everybody because it kept the heart and soul of what the original was. And that's what it seems like they're doing from here. So I'm really grateful for that.
Just there's a difference on the time gap that it took Capcom to do Resident Evil 2 versus Square doing
by a century.
So the next thing, guys, that stood out to us, I'll start with this one so we can end it on a higher note, was Death Stranding. I don't know if we're even going to have video for Death Stranding because the gameplay that Andrew showed me that came out yesterday
Go watch any previous gameplay of Death Stranding and it's just about the same. It's him walking.
And haters are saying the game looks great. Anyone that doesn't like it is calling it just a walking sim. But we sat here and, we had to fast forward through it because he didn't do anything more than just walking up until a certain key points. And what'd you get to see? You got to see him
fight like a boss, but he's just running from the boss, running around it pretty much
throwing
the whole time.
Whatever he was throwing. And then we got to see him get on a transportational vehicle. It was like some sort of hover bike or...
He's got a bike, and then he also has like a hoverboard. And then they've also introduced like... you have to like rest, or your guy. There's like weight mechanics, which in a game that's already just about walking, I'm like, okay, well, let's make that even worse. But I'm
yeah, let's slow our character that already moves at 2 miles an hour. And he has to take a mud bath.
What I will say is, so we watched the 40-minute gameplay, and then we watched the 7-minute trailer, and I was more into the 7-minute trailer than the gameplay. The trailer or game snippet, the entire fucking cutscene, whatever they want to call that, was way more interesting than that, because that was Kojima-esque. That's where the story is there, the dialogue's there. It's really good. I'm into these people. I'm into the situation. The voice acting is great, of course.
The political sphere of it really kicks in. You finally know what it's about. You realize that there's a president that's being held down. There's this guy in a black mask that you have apparently it looks like a history with it, and then your guy is, he doesn't want to be a part of any of this. You actually finally know where this is going. They finally kind of go over that map of the US and why he has to go connect it, instead of us just seeing him walk with this big fucking backpack that's 19 times bigger than he is, and it didn't make any sense. Now there's a little more context, so I think I'm a little more lukewarm on it than ice cold like I was. But I think almost at this point too little too late if you already weren't buying it day one.
That is a game that I'm dying for to come out, just because I want to see how it's received.
How fast it goes to $40 in the first week. If there's anything more you want to touch on it, it's a big trailer, guy. Like I said, 40 minutes. So we'll put the link in the description. Go watch it. It's kind of hard to dissect the whole thing outside of more of the same, in my opinion.
Well, that 40-minute gameplay was like, from what I could see, how early we watched it, was only in like Japanese.
Was it him playing it?
Yeah,
it was Hideo Kojima actually playing it. So
he's either playing it or he's narrating, and then the chick next to him is playing it. Either way, it's all in like Japanese. And
so I speak Japanese.
So I can't understand any of it.
And last but not least is a game that we both been looking forward to was Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, and the big thing with that is it finally got a release date,
January 17th, 2020.
So guys, if you were looking forward to that game, because I think it was already mentioned that it was going to be early 2020 at
something
some point.
like that. I think it might have just been 2020,
fast.
But
first quarter, first month, 3 weeks in. So
that, and they actually showed off some more gameplay of it, so spoilers if you don't want to hear where it goes to, but it does actually go up to the Boo Saga. I don't know if they're going to go beyond that. Maybe that's why it's not... I think it's just Dragon Ball Kakarot, or is it Dragon Ball Z Kakarot?
It's probably Dragon Ball. I think I just wrote Dragon Ball Z because I've written Dragon Ball Z and everything I've done since 14.
Yeah, I always do that too. So I don't remember, so maybe that's why they left the Z out of it. But I think it's just Dragon Ball Kakarot. But either way, it shows Goten... Trunks' kids, when they're trying to fuse. It opens with the same man. It shows a little bit of Majin Buu and stuff like that,
which is awesome.
So it's at least going to cover the Buu Saga, which I felt like that's already a pretty hefty story and a hefty game, especially with all the fights and all the little things going on in between.
Yeah, it looks
that if it didn't have Super, I wouldn't really be disappointed to it.
The cool thing is it'd be odd if they went all the way to the Cell Saga and then the next part, I mean, I guess DLC could have worked as a Majin Buu thing. But the beauty is now we have Super as game 2. If this game launches and it does, what they hope it does, they've got a whole new thing to base the next game off of, and which has, I don't think, ever been done outside of making like a GT strictly fighting game, right? There's never been a hard narrative on GT games. It's always been like GT Final Bout is a Dragon Ball GT game, but it's just fighting. So if they can base Super on the next narrative kind of base-driven game, that'd be the first time I think they've ever been able to do that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it'd be pretty cool though. I mean, I personally haven't watched Super because I don't like the animation to it, and I haven't gotten around to watching it to where
I just haven't finished.
This might be the way that I can enjoy that story because I love this art style and the way it looks that I would just get my story off of this than whatever.
Side note, I don't mean to get too off topic, but after playing that Yu-Gi-Oh game, that's kind of how I got more into the story, is following Duelist of the Legacy. And seeing what happens to Yugi after that, because I never really went further than that in GX.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to go, I guess that's filled in the blank. So that is it for the TGS, guys, 2019. It is still going on, so I'm sure we'll have more to say about it. But if you guys have been watching it and you guys are keeping tabs on it, jump in the comments, let us know what stood out to you the most, because we will definitely comment you back, and we'll check it out and we'll have a conversation about it.
Yeah, let me know if you hate Death Stranding as much as I do.
Oh, man, I don't think anyone does. But the big thing, guys, we're here to talk about is Gears 5. So this is a game that just came out on the 12th, right? Was its official?
I think it was the 11th.
The 10th? Okay, so it came out
way off.
Officially on the 10th. And if you had the Ultimate Game Pass, you had it a couple days earlier.
Oh, maybe then it came out
Okay,
on
see,
the
that's
10th.
what I thought it was.
Okay, so maybe that's
you
what it
could
is.
play it if you had the Ultimate Game Pass. It officially released. But outside of it being a fantastic game, because Andrew beat it last night. I beat it this morning. But outside of being the campaign, this game is breaking a few notches off the old online gaming community's belt. So what happened?
Yeah, so on Xbox, actually, FORTNITE has been the #1 dominant game that it is in like all mediums for a year. Non-stop, straight, hasn't been knocked. And Gears 5 actually knocked it off in 3 different countries. I believe it was US, Germany, and UK. Which, I mean, it's no small feat. It's a game that can be paid for, but leading into kind of more, it is free with the Game Pass. That's why I played it. I'm not the hugest Gears fan. I personally, I've only beaten 1. I just jumped straight into this one. And on 2 note, Craig played this game solo. I played this entire game co-op with my lovely, lovely Bae. And we went through it all the way together. And so maybe my experience might differ than anyone who is playing by themselves because I had that backup and that ally with me the whole time. So either way, I had an absolute blast. Me and her even tried to do the Gears of War Remastered, I think like 2 years ago when it first came out because I got it also for free. And we couldn't stand I couldn't stand it. I was so bored. I was like, oh, this sucks. I hate this. And she was actually even telling me, she's like, I love it. Actually, I brought my Xbox here with me.
Yep.
And she was going to play it while I was gone. I was like, oh, you can't. I'm taking the box because we got to switch over our Game Pass stuff or whatever.
Yeah, we're working on a few things.
That's how much she was into it. So, I mean, for somebody who's never played a Gears of War before, feel free to jump in there. And especially if you have the Game Pass, dive right in because, I mean, it's free. So you have no reason not to.
Yeah, so here's kind of the main thing that caught my eye with it. So, I mean, and remember, keep this in context. It knocked out Fortnite on Microsoft only, not PS4, not PC, where it is a bigger force to be reckoned with than it is on Microsoft.
To jump in and add to that, the #1 game that knocked it off is the Gears of War Ultimate Edition. The Gears 5 Ultimate Edition, which does count separately on their list than the standard Gears 5.
Because standard, I have a picture, I'll pop it up, I'm sure, here-ish, but I think the standard came in around 8 or 9. It's in the top 10, and then Ultimate is #1. So it has 2 games, same title, in the top 10 games being played right now.
They're both placing, and that game beat Fortnite out with only 1 version of that game.
So one thing to note that I thought was interesting is the games that came closest to knocking out Fortnite has been Red Dead Redemption 2, Apex Legends, and Call of Duty Black Ops 4, and I think Rainbow Siege is pretty close on that list as well.
That game's on a comeback.
Yeah, well, because what it's doing is it's building on its foundation, and instead of releasing a new game every year, it's building, which is what I think Gears 5 is going to rest on quite comfortably because the game not only has a solid campaign that you can go back and play on higher difficulties, that not only can you go back and play with multiple friends because it's a 3-person campaign, and then not only can you go back and find all the collectibles, so it's got revisibility with the game side, but then there's the online, right? You've got the Horde, you've got, what was the other couple, they got Versus, Escape, and Horde. So they got 3 online modes that you can play that matches, if you have the Game Pass, the free side of what a Fortnite would be. And if they're smart, which I'm sure the Coalition is going to do, is they're going to support it over the next X amount of years, building it to it, adding to it, defining it, really, right?
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to add a bunch to it. I mean, I don't think
there's just no reason not to.
I don't think it's going to be Rainbow Six level, but
well, but I guess the counter would be it's not going to be Call of Duty. There's not going to be a Gears 6 next year, Gears 7 next year.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They've got a game they're going to be able to build over the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, they're going to take their time to bake it.
Which is, now, okay, so because the big thing that everyone's kind of looking at is, did the Game Pass help bolster this game into that?
Exactly. That's the kind of, yeah, that for sure. Because
flat out.
I never would have bought the game.
I tried looking up numbers to see how much this game, or maybe not this game per se, but what the surge was over the last week of Game Pass subscribers. And so far, I haven't been able to find any information. So if you guys have found anything, I'd love to hear it. But I was reading that they just haven't released that information yet.
And I'm sure they will. And to reiterate, too, I got a couple negatives here because this game is not all glamour and glitz. I don't know if you have any negatives. I'll just go over a quick couple. One, this is more of a gripe than a negative, but I hate that when a game, any game that does it, goes over 50 achievements. So this game has 69 achievements, only worth 1,000. So it's like every little thing is just like 5, 5, 5, 5, doing all this small, like, petty bullshit. I'd rather just have 50 substantial, meaty achievements or less than that. Once you start going over that, I hate it. You lost me.
The only way I can look at it in a way that I guess would make some sense, even though I'm playing devil's advocate, because I'm the same way, is that in a 2-part coin is, one, it's not made for achievement hunters. But 2, if it is, imagine being the achievement hunter that's not only playing the campaign, but you're going to grind out the online. So it's almost like it gives you more of a checklist to do than a smaller list. So if you do like doing more to get the full potential, you've got more to do. If you don't like doing more, especially with modes you're not going to play a lot of, then it kind of sucks because you're only going to get half of the achievements.
Saying, cut out some of the other bullshit achievements and like don't give me the 5 points for doing the boot camp. You know, you could have allocated that somewhere else.
That was the first one I got in Phoenix this week. When I was sitting at Cian's house, I was just like, nah.
So that's more of a regret. That's not a negative. A negative that I will say, though, is that the achievements are laggy. Because I beat the campaign, didn't get the achievement for beating the campaign,
unless
have absolutely everything else. And that stems more not just to the fact that we, didn't get the achievements, but if you were looking for the collectibles and stuff like that, it actually may show up as 0 out of whatever amount and not even actually count it towards your progress. Because if I go back to chapter 4 now, just like other people, or depending on whatever chapter yours did it for, mine did it for chapter 4, it says I didn't find a single collectible through all of it, and I know that I did.
Yeah, I had a big one where I was going after, I think the achievement's called Relics of the Past, and I was getting all the relic guns, and I had one, and I know I killed everybody with it, but it wasn't giving me the percentage, and it wasn't until, and I went back before I moved on, I went back and used all the guns again. And it wasn't until like I turned my Xbox off, played it the next day, that I noticed that it jumped. So I'm hoping it's one of those random things where we turn on our Xbox and you know it pops, but I doubt it. We're probably gonna have to redo the mission or something.
And then my final negative will say it can be a little bit buggy. The only time I really ran into anything serious, besides I did get set back a save, but that's maybe more my fault for not waiting long enough. But I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that. But there's a section like where you're supposed to. I had multiple bugs, but this was the one that just really got me, where you're supposed to sneak up behind these robots and then a swarm of enemies like break through a roof and then you end up fighting this swarm. The swarm never came. So I killed these enemies and I'm just stuck in this room. I can't fucking go anywhere. I spent 15-20 minutes, me and Christina both looking everywhere, turned up the brightness as bright as we can because it can be a dark game. Couldn't find anything. I had to look it up on YouTube and watch somebody else play it before the fucking thing broke in. And so I went to quit, it took was doing it for like 5 minutes that I had to quit out of the game, load the game, and then as soon as I walked back into the room, the shit instantly broke in. I was like, well, fuck, there goes fucking 30 minutes of my life now.
The only one I had was on the very end of the game when you're on the truck, and you're going through that shit and you're shooting in the back. She just fell off of the truck. Or you're not supposed to, right? She fell off of the truck. And I was stuck in the road, and I was just like, what? And I was literally about to take a snap and be like, I don't think this is supposed to happen. And then right when I think the truck made it to the checkpoint, and it warped me to the front, and I was like, oh, thank God, I didn't have to fucking do that over again. So
no, I never had anything like that.
Yeah,
I had
so
some
that was
like
the only
weird
glitch
weapon
I had,
or whatever. But other than that, I mean, it's a fun game. I think the campaign length was perfect for me. I don't think it was too long. I don't think it was too short. And again, you could extend that length if you want a longer, beefier campaign
play the harder
by
one.
playing on the harder difficulty. And then again, it is a beautiful game. Like, it looks really good.
It looks
I actually really
fantastic.
liked.
But we both played it on the X's, right?
Yeah, on the X's. My favorite thing that I think I noticed was, I would say, environmental depth. So when you're walking through the snow, your footprints stuff like that don't just disappear.
Yeah,
and
I like
it goes
that.
down to like leg length too. So your person's like sloshing through the snow. It's not just like you're walking like legless on the tips or whatever. Or even when you go to like the desert area, that red sand.
Oh, that was my favorite part.
Yeah. I thought it was absolutely
when you were ripping
beautiful
through
area.
and that storm was coming down, I was just like, whew.
Yeah,
I like that.
That was great. The only thing I noticed too, though, is sometimes like when you know how you gotta do the segments where two people have to open a door to get through.
I thought that got a little
the one that got repetitive, but two, when they go to rush through, it's almost like the graphics have to reset because if anyone's standing there before you people go through, they look like shit, and then after you go through and it gives you control again, everything goes back to looking fine. So it was kind of weird, but either way, you maybe have a shooter score for it, rapid fire.
Before we
you didn't beat it. I forgot.
What, Gears 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, I beat it this morning.
Oh, did you? I thought you didn't beat it.
No. If we're giving it a score, I just want to add one more note before we move on to it. Was, I popped that bad boy this morning.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You said you didn't get the achievement just like I
didn't get
which
the
I just
achievement.
mentioned.
But, Liam McIntyre, I believe is his name, the second Spartacus from, if you guys watch Spartacus. Yeah. He's the voice of JD.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, I didn't know that. I was listening to the voice. I'm like, I hear him.
Thinking about it now, it totally makes sense.
Well, has John
really
DiMaggio always been the voice of Marcus?
I think so.
Okay, because now I can't not hear, but I don't remember. Again, I've only played once, so. But I thought it had a good little cast. But I'd give the game a solid. I'd say 8. But if you play online and that's what you're buying the game for and doing it, I would say it easily slides into a 9. For me,
I think it can be. The content
I played online, but that's not where I'm going to dedicate the next month of my life into.
The content's there for it, for sure. I'd give it like a good 8.5 for myself.
Yeah, 8 so 8 to 9, 8.5 right in that meaty area. So that is it for Gears 5, guys. So make sure you let us know if you've played it, if you've beaten it, if you liked it, have you glitched out on it. Hey, I don't know. Leave it in the comments. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, and if you know how to unlock that achievement, let me know. Cause
yeah, Jesus.
I need my 20 points.
Yeah, Daddy's hurting for 20 right now. So, guys, let's move into riffs. Now, Andrew, would you like to start the first riff or follow the second riff?
I will go first because I've only got 2.
Okay.
So my first one...
Fire off, cowboy.
First one is this weekend, leading into next weekend. Well, not leading into next one. Over this weekend, on PS4 only. Another beta for Call of Duty. So if you didn't get a chance to play that Modern Warfare goodness, get out there and get it. Because I absolutely loved it the first time I got it. It's not going to be on Xbox until the weekend after that.
And you played it on the PS4.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that
I came over here just so that way I could play the beta. And we had the alpha. And I had a pretty good time doing it. So it will be open. So if you got a PS4, definitely give it a try. There's no reason not to, because I think it's a good return to form for Call of Duty.
Excellent. I want to announce it, and this happened earlier today, and I wish I would have wrote it down if I read it from like Polygon or something like that. But did you see that Anthem is now officially on the EA Access? Whole game?
That's pretty quick. No, I did not see that.
Yeah, so kind of, we're kind of gloss over these riffs, so we're not taking up too much time, so we can tell you guys who won the contest. But Anthem was supposed to be this big tentpole game. And a lot of people paid $60 for this thing, and
I'd be pissed.
It kind of struggled, to say the least, to warrant the amount of attention that it needed to stay relevant. I mean, when you're living in this world with like Destinies that are still running strong, it fell short, and EA had nothing else to do but to put it on the EA Access. My worry is, well, how long do you keep the servers up for it?
And that's kind of the scary thing about buying some of those games too. And that's where it is on the beauty of the consumer, but it can be to the downside of the consumer. Is if you bought that at full price, yeah, that's shitty. You're shit out of luck. But if you're a Game Pass user like me, EA Access, I actually might give that game a chance now that it's on the EA Access.
Yeah, it might get a little more love. So
yeah,
maybe they're hoping for that surge.
I gave it the first few hours. I really didn't like it. I didn't want to play it anymore. I didn't want to waste the full 10, whatever. But now that it's fully free, and I can maybe get a few other people to download it and maybe run through it together, why not? Same thing with the Game Pass. Gears of War 5.
Put a couple more hours.
Why? Yeah, if you have any of those passes, why not play it?
Yeah, there's a difference between free and 60, and when it comes to something that I'm 50-50 on, free's the answer. And if it's on EA Access, which I pay for, I'll play it.
Yeah, and I mean, and again, it's not with every game, and it depends on where you find your value. Because personally, for me,
but it's something I'd like to have a stronger opinion on.
Yeah, if Halo was not a day and date Game Pass game, the next Halo, I would pay $60 for it. And then if it came to it, the Game Pass 6 months later, I would not be mad because I know that I would have gotten my money's worth out of that game.
Isn't the Game Pass, and maybe they said it starting date, or maybe it's now modern day, every first party Xbox, Microsoft is going to be on the Game Pass.
Yeah.
And so so the beauty is that Xbox just accumulated all these studios, but so all their games will be day one Game Pass.
Yeah, and and again, like EA Access with anything too, provided
like,
Battlefield 5, I didn't like it, but if it had been Battlefield 4 and then it came out towards the end of the year, or even they did the same thing with Hardline, I think it came out towards the end of the year, I already felt I had got my money's worth, that I didn't feel spurned, but it's up to you as a consumer to find that value yourself.
Yeah. And where's Ubisoft at with their pass?
on PC.
Yeah. So what's your
next rip I will say is that Nintendo is suing.
Well, hold on.
Is that one of yours?
Yep.
Is suing ROM Universe, a website, for $2 million for pretty much selling ROMs. They have free ROMs that you can download, of course, but if you pay a $30 premium for their their year, time, you get a quicker download time because you get better access to their servers and stuff like that. I mean, it's just ROMs. I mean, that's kind of the great debate, is when some of these games are unavailable or not on a modern convenient console. Yeah. Is it okay to download something like that? I'm up in the air.
It's a question as old as time.
I'm up in the air about it, so I can go either way.
I say ROMs. If you...
well, what about now with the Nintendo
the Switch that only has so many? That only has...
Okay, so don't download 25 out of the 100.
Well, here's the thing, though. We've been downloading these ROMs since the 90s, ish. It took 2019 for them to finally get their shit together and go, hey, can we get something together that has all these?
People want to play these old games?
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm of two minds. I'm a guy that likes convenience, obviously, and if I can get someone to mod something for me, because I have a modded Xbox. I get that it's a form of piracy, but is it wrong that I have one if I'm never going to go out and get those games? I'm playing them.
You're going to think it's wrong when the FBI kick that door down in 5 minutes and take that Xbox. And
here's the juicy part. So what Nintendo's, I dove a little more into it, and what they're suing for is for the damages. They're doing $150,000 for each copyright and $2 million for each trademark infringement.
Oh, I thought it was $2 million.
No, they're going $2 million per. So
shit.
These guys are looking to get fucked.
See, the article I read said it was going for $2 million.
Yeah,
so
I had to say pull that, but I'll show it to you afterwards. I mean, just so if we're wrong,
I'm
saying just so if we're wrong, we can credit it later. But I mean, I don't know what you make giving ROMs for $30 a month to X amount of people, but
definitely
you
not
can't
that kind
have
of money.
Fucking that kind of cash. I mean, this is gonna, and again, they're in the complete right? I mean, there's no arguing that. It's just, where else are you going to get ROMs from? I mean, people that are modding the SNES Classic and the NES Classic, where do you think they're getting them from? People that are modding the PS1 Classic, where are they getting them from? It's sites like this, so it's up for debate. So either you feel one way about it or you don't. I think ROMs are fine, but it does hurt the integrity of the gamer that actually programmed it and people that are relying on money like that. So I don't know. It's a very touchy subject, I think.
Yeah, relying on your royalties from Super Mario World.
Well, hey, if it's still selling back then now, so I mean, guys are still getting paid fat for it. So.
You got anything else?
Yeah. Well, you took that one from me. Anthem's gone.
In some ways, you never really had it.
So the Nintendo Switch just had this new, and I just saw it on I forget who was announcing it, but their new thing called the Ring Fit Adventure. Have you seen
Oh,
this yet?
that weird ass thing.
Yeah, so I'm curious about it because so if you haven't seen it, it's essentially this kind of wheel shaped thing that fits both of your
a very thin wheel.
Yeah, very thin.
Yeah, not like a steering wheel.
Not a wheel that you would. I mean, it's meant to take in force.
It looks like an Olympic ring.
And then there's a leg strap you can put the other one on. So the game is essentially their new Fit game, and it's kind of set up in like a fantasy role playing thing. So you're battling monsters, but the way you attack is via exercise. So it's supposed. So if you want to do something like do something, leg drop, But the cool thing I thought they did was there's a silent mode. So if you don't want to be jumping around the house or causing a lot of noise, they'll substitute like a jumping jack for like a squat or something like that. So, but the interesting thing that I thought they had was the Fit games that they do are still like the #1 selling games that the Wii Fit did in its entire collection, which came out to in a combined total of 43 million copies. So Nintendo knows how to do this right. My question is, we've seen it fail with like Xbox with the what was it called?
The Kinect?
The Kinect and the PS Move. Do you think they're just the ones dominating this space, or can anyone else get into this? Or is it, how would they get into it?
I don't know. It's so weird to think that those are selling well because I never pictured them as
selling
hugely.
They're like, I believe they're in like the top 20 best-selling.
But then again, when I told you I had a new workout routine, what do you think it was?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It comes out October 18th. So if you're looking forward to it, it comes out next month. And it's $79.99, but it's the game plus all the accessories. So not a bad little package if it's something you were interested in.
Maybe that could be the next giveaway if you're trying to burn that fat.
Oh, you guys. And the last thing I had was, only because we were talking about it a couple episodes back, Walking Dead Telltale just did a complete definitive series that you can get online right now for $49.99. It does all the Walking Dead episodes, which they were saying roughly comes out to like 50 hours over 23 chapters with very upscaled graphics.
I can imagine playing that
shows
like
it back
front
and
to
forth.
back.
Exactly. I'm like, who's this for? Because most people should have already played at least most of them by now. But I do have to make a correction. I think the other week I forget who I said came back and did the games, but Skybound Games is actually the one that came back and delivered on this, and they're the guys responsible for producing this. So kudos to Skybound.
I think you said LCG, but that's the company.
I think it was an LCG. Yeah, Skybound's
LCG is the one that bought it, but Skybound's the one.
Well, because when I beat the final chapter, however long ago it was, at the end they kind of do like a title credit scene, and a big fat Skybound pops up on there. I was like, you know what? I think I said the wrong name, but hey, I'll never know.
All right. Well, I don't have anything else. I think we're ready for probably a couple questions. Yeah.
Couple questions? Sure. Why don't you read the first one?
Sure. I have the first one, and I don't know if this is an exact quote.
Video game questions of the week.
Craig sent it to me, so for all I know, he probably edited it. This one is from Sammy G. It says, is there any future games coming out soon that you do not want to play, and why? I think if you ask that kind of a question, you must have something in mind, so I would like to know what your personal answer was. Mine, for me, is Death Stranding. I think it's crazy overhyped. I don't want it to fail. I just want to see what it's going to do and if it's going to fail naturally. But I also put a hyphen next to that because the other game that is out now that I have zero interest in would be Greedfall.
I like Greedfall. I'm looking forward to it. I guess I'm going to have to buy that on my own. Death Stranding has and still remains a game that I'm uninterested in. I will, like I said earlier, I think the new trailers move the margin a little bit because it actually, I know what the game's about and I'm seeing what it's somewhat capable of.
Yeah, but it wasn't like 2 to 10. It was like 2 to 4.
No,
and a half.
It sucks because it is Death Stranding. That's a big game. What were we talking about? A big game earlier that was we were both like but it's not. I'm trying to blank on it now. I should have wrote it down because Death Stranding has been in my head since I read the question, a week ago. But
you can come back to it if you want.
Yeah, if it hits me, Sammy G, I'll send you the message. But we appreciate the question. And guys, what's a game you're looking for that has hype around it that is gonna fall flat essentially? Next question, guys, comes from Rinse Repeat, and he asks, Astral Chain just came out and people are already calling it GOTY, Game of the Year. What's your Game of the Year so far? I'll start because Andrew has a little more into it than I do, so I'll give a shorter answer for it. Gears 5. I mean,
Really?
Gears 5 is just after. Well, originally I was gonna say Devil May Cry 5. 5 is running wild, but I think Gears 5 takes it for me so far. Very interesting storyline, fantastic online, even though that won't be my eccentric play for it. I just had a blast playing with it, and it looked fantastic. So that would be mine, Andrew.
Well, mine, we'll have to wait and see because this Link's Awakening could run rampant since it is my favorite game of all time. But my game of the year so far, it was between two. It's really just one. It was between Sekiro and Resident Evil 2. It's just Resident Evil 2.
Oh,
remake.
Okay.
That is my
back in my head. I'm like, I know he's gonna pick one of those. But
that's my absolute game of the year. I absolutely love that game. Anytime anyone hears me talk about it on the show, I'm nothing but gushing about it. I think I seen a comment the other day, or probably not even the other day, a week on another video of someone saying, the way hearing you guys talk about it so much, I should get into that game.
Oh, that was
and I think, I think you were rolling back saying to get into it, and I would highly recommend it. If you don't have anything immediate that you're playing, go and buy that game tomorrow, and you will not regret it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a full week game. It's what I would say 4 to 10 hours.
It depends because it depends on how long it takes you to do one session. So just playing it blindly, no guide, no nothing, took me like 7 to 8 hours with one person. So it'd be about 16 if you're doing two. And so it just depends on how you break that up, what difficulty you play on, that sort of thing.
I do got to mention this then because and again, we speak more to an Xbox crowd because we stick to most of our games on Xbox. So I'm not sure if this is on the PS4 at all, but Capcom's having a Resident Evil sale right now with all movies and games included, and you can go buy Resident Evil 2, which I think I'm going to after this, is I believe it's at $34.99. It might be at $35.99. So you can go buy that game at a discount right now if that's something you're looking at.
Yeah, why not? I think
so. Auburn Stein,
it was worth it at $60.
Go play that. Yeah, so let's move on to the next question. Brian Serafino asks, how do you... this is a question I've been pondering for the darn
Oh, yeah,
time.
I know. You sent me this one the other day.
How do you fit gaming into your schedule with family and work? I definitely don't have time now than when I was a kid for sure. So, Andrew, this is a question that, I think anybody that hits maturity or adulthood can easily... It's like most things that you enjoyed as a
I think the first row of hurdles once you get, a full-time job.
Yeah, it's... Because you don't have summer vacation anymore, right? Once you hit a certain age, you don't get 3-4 months to go play and do things, which we spend a lot of our time as kids playing games. So how do you balance? How do you do the juggling act?
I don't have.
How do you get by?
I'll start with that. I don't have any children, so I can't relate to that situation. If anyone out there does,
it's gonna be hurt.
Well, my little fur baby, but she'll cuddle up with me. As far as it goes, I mean. Honestly, that's why I always look tired. That's why I like dark circles under my eyes. Because
me too.
There's days where I come home and me and Christina will spend time together. Or lately, we've actually been playing together. So there's days where I'll just jump on. There's other days where I wait for her to go to bed. And then I jump on. And I'm usually on until 1 in the morning. So I personally, right now, to get my gaming in, I sacrifice sleep. So I'll be up to 1 or 2 playing. And then I get up at 7:30 to get ready and go to work. And I'm tired all day. But, I mean, I feel like I got, that much further. I'm that kind of person, too, that I'm like, just 5 more minutes or I'm already in this section. I can't stop now. I just got to finish this section. Yeah, I'm right there at the end. I got to finish the end. So I'll sacrifice my sleep, usually, is how I fit my gaming in. Unless it's on the weekend. On the weekend, again, I don't have anything else going on unless we're doing something or hanging out or whatever. So I have no problem sitting at home. Just making a day out of it.
Taking advantage of days off. I think that's kind of a big thing, right?
That's the biggest chunk, right?
Yeah, we had the both same days off, Saturday, Sunday, usually. So take advantage of your weekends. And like Andrew's saying, unless we're going out drinking and it's a dedicated weekend, which happens more often than not, the way I'm kind of a reverse Andrew because I used to stay up late, but due to we have different work schedules, so I usually work till around 7, 8, and then I don't want to stay up till 1. So I'm usually in bed by 10 or 11 after playing games. I'm up at 4 or 5 in the morning. So that's where I find where I play the game. So, and again, to answer the question, I don't have kids or anything like that. So to the people that do, I'm more curious of how they balance the time, how a Gino balances time, because I'm up at 4 and I play till 9, 10, 11 before I start doing anything else. 'Cause that's when usually most people start waking up in the middle of the weekday. So sacrificing sleep in the same kind of answer that Andrew said, but just on different spectrums. Andrew stays up late and plays. I wake up early and play. So.
I'm not a morning person, but it's obviously why.
So yeah, Brian, I'm curious how you do it, man, because it sounds like you got some kids, and I'm really curious of how you balance it. And I guess here'd be the other thing. What goals are you trying to beat? You know what I mean? I think I don't want to say maybe harder, but Andrew and I try to beat certain things so we can talk about it on this. So
yeah, like
the fact that this takes up time now, our schedule shrunk a little bit more because instead of playing a game right now, we're talking about games. So, which I wouldn't change for anything in the world.
Yeah, no, but even still, like, yeah, as soon as we got home from vacation on Monday, instantly started Gears.
Instantly, yeah. And the goal was to beat it before we recorded, which
Tuesday put in another session of Gears. Wednesday did another session of Gears, so just really, like, hammered that game the fuck out.
Yeah, but I guess priorities, if it's something you're checklisting, high priority. If then, it's just a game you're relaxing on, playing Final Fantasy VIII Remastered as you go, you know, the time you got.
I will say it does help if your significant other is into it. Like, that's the thing about Christina, is she's the kind of person who will fall asleep to me playing games, or when we used to live in like a, you know, with like our parents or like a shitty little room, she'd be like, oh, I can't sleep. Will you play the game for a little bit? And so she would fall asleep to like me playing Battlefield or like Batman or something like that because she has to have a TV on. That is her background noise. And so me playing the game was just like putting her to sleep. So that's something that she could, you know, just pop right off to.
Yeah, and that helps too. So hopefully you're with someone that likes to play games.
If not, at least appreciates your passion.
Yeah, there you go. Andrew, it is time for all these. This episode is running long, but we had to do it for a minute. We are ready to announce the winner, or at least pick the winner, of the Nintendo Switch Lite. So, is this thing bugging you too? It's flying around. Where did the head bite? Can you give me one more beer while I get this set up?
Sure thing.
All right, guys. So the way this ended, we've been telling you guys to make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, and that you enter Switch Lite into the comments so that we can pick so you have an entry into the thing. So the way that works, I'm going to put up a picture.
Left behind.
Well, dude, this thing is just...
No, that's the wrong one.
I know. What do you mean? Was that the old one?
Dude, the other one's like that.
Dude, well, this thing's got me going cross-eyed over here.
That thing's a little hefty. But either way, you guys have been entering for what seems like the longest time now.
You knew it was
and we appreciate it, and hopefully it's worth it to you.
So what we did is, guys, and I don't know how much more we can make this clearer. So when you make an entry, what that does is on that episode, you will get an entry for that episode. There's going to be 9 entries that we are going to pick from. And the more you enter, the more entries you can get. So you could theoretically have, if your name gets drawn, 9 tickets. You
Connor Malone, win. Post Malone, you could have, theoretically, right now, 8 out of 9.
So what we did is we pulled 1 entry per episode that was collected. So I have them all here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read off who of you guys is actually in the contest. We're going to put them into a hat, sealed up, and then we're going to pick the winner.
And to be clear, they are all random. We actually go to like an online, like one of those random generator websites or whatever, put in a link to our video, and it just randomly picks a person out. So
I'm gonna name off the name of who's in it, and we'll say what episode you got your entry on. So
fold it in half and put it in, because I don't want to go grab the other hat. So
okay. So episode 19, I don't know if you guys can see it. We have lights. Lip Lopes has an entry.
I wonder if that's Lip Lopez, because you've been saying Lip Lopes all night.
It's Lopes with no Z. Can you say Lopez without an S? Or without a Z?
I think so.
Okay, well, that's in there. Episode 17 is AZ Stephen G. You got an entry. Raj Kohli, Kohli, I hope I said that right. Episode 14, you got an entry. And then we laughed when we saw this one. The big dog Connor Malone got an entry from episode 15. So you are in there. Next one comes from I'll Give You Mo, episode 13. We've got Dominique Moore, and she was the episode filler, the not official 20 that me and Gino did. So you've got your entry in from that. We've got Daniel Backstrom. You got episode 18 entry. And Johnny Ta, episode 12 entry. And last but not least, and I was happy about this one. Good luck, man. Rinse Repeat, episode 16.
Don't play favorites.
I'm not playing favorites, but good luck to all you guys. They're all in there. Do you want to draw? You want me to draw? Because if you want to draw, I do the first one. But let me shuffle up.
Okay,
if you draw.
Then you shuffle it and I'll draw it.
Hey, no peeks. Okay. You got it?
Yeah.
All right. So, Andrew, who is the winner of the Nintendo Switch Lite?
The winner is AZ Stephen G from episode 17.
So, I hope you guys can see this. I really hope you can. So, that is the winner, guys. And we appreciate all you guys that hung in there with us, did your comments. If we could afford it for all of you guys, we would. Unfortunately, we can't and we won't. So, AZ Stephen G, you are the winner. We will reach out to you. We pulled the comment. What we didn't do was pull the color. So, we'll go back. We'll find the color that you wanted. And we'll reach out to you in comments. And we'll figure out your mailing address and all that stuff. So, or by the time you watch this episode, reach out to us at LastCallProductionz@gmail.com. You can reach us at Instagram at LastCallProductionz. You can get us at Twitter at LastCallProdz. You can follow us on Facebook at LastCallProductionz or at LastCall928. And you guys, if you're listening to this and you want to hear an audio version only cast, then follow us at Castbox, currently the only source of our audio podcast. Andrew, anything? Oh, you know what we want to do? Give a shout out to Robbie K. So, guys, I'm going to put a picture here. Robbie K was the winner of our first
the Borderlands 3,
first contest. If you guys go back as far
which
as
is
that.
Finally out today on a Thursday.
And he won Borderlands 3, and me and Andrew got him his digital code. We sent it to him. He downloaded it yesterday. I'm sure he's playing it right now. So Robbie K, kudos to you, man, and thanks for being part of the first one. AZ Stephen G, thank you for being part of the second one. And guys, thank you for being a part of all of it. And we hope that you guys stay with us and do more. Andrew, we're not going to tell them what our next one is, but we are offering a new one.
We are going to announce a new one next week. It's not going to be another console. Spoiler alert. But you can retroactively come back to this video and put hashtag whatever the hashtag is. This is going to be the first one we're going to announce. The first one that's going to count towards it. But we're not ready to quite announce it yet because we're still kind of working out a few things.
Yeah, so watch the next episode to find out what we're giving away. But use this episode as entry 1. You saw the tickets? That could be your first entry into this, guys. So don't. I tell everyone, guys, don't sleep on these, right? There's a lot of people that were writing us and saying, that we're only in 3 of them. Well, then you only got 3 shots to be on a ticket. So make sure you utilize all of them, right?
Yeah. To make that clear, and just in case anyone maybe is misunderstanding, your entry does not disqualify you from any other. So like Stephen G, he only had the 1 entry out of all of them. But if he had entered in all 9 videos, the odds are slim to fucking none.
Right.
But I could have pulled Stephen G all 9 times.
I think our first video, somebody, I forget who, but somebody had 2 entries in it.
I think it was Sean Love.
Oh, it's Sean Love? Yeah.
So you can be your name could be on there 3 out of however many times, 4 out of...
Yeah, the more you enter, guys, the more you get a chance to go.
Right,
so. I think that's the end of that, guys. I hope you had a good time. Andrew, did you have a good time?
Well, the beer's almost gone.
Well, guys, that is the end of the episode. My name is Craig Perales, and from Mandrew Montemayor. Until next time.
See ya.
Cheers. I get what they had to do for the differences, but it's like, well, then you're losing the blackout version of Norman Osborn, right? He wakes up and he doesn't remember what he did, or anything like that. Where this guy, I don't think he can revert back, or unless there's episodes where I gotta stick him with serum.
Yeah, but like the Yu-Gi game, the Yu-Gi-Oh goes further, and like before,
Yu-Gi-Oh!
I think it culminates with him getting all the items together. Because like monsters somehow come into the real world, but
Do you
like
tag when someone goes online?
I have it set to.
How did that go at the same time? That can't be an email. It just have to
no, I probably got another thing saying I need to fix it. something saying, my front room's detected motion, dude. I keep getting.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, well, because it went off. I'm like, you get fucking who's coming online on your phone? A little paranoid much?
No, but yeah, he gets all the Millennium items and he like combines them into this thing. So at the end, Yugi doesn't have like the fucking. No one has any of the items anymore. I think they all get like destroyed or something like that. Or
well, see, now that I'm hearing it, that sounds familiar.
I've never seen it.
Okay, because I remember. Maybe I don't remember.
I
in my mind's eye. In my mind's eye.
When that game came out. Because I never actually finished the show up to the.
I thought I did. I thought I finished it.
I didn't finish the arc with Merrick. And so I went back and I actually finished that arc because it's all on Hulu up until. Actually, it goes beyond that in Hulu. So I've been meaning to go through and watch it. It's just. I can watch the other stuff because I remember bits and pieces, so it comes easy. Whereas, man, dude, some of that dialogue and just like the filler and shit like that.
I have a hard time just listening to Joey. Come on, Yui! We gotta get the heart of the cards!